course, when you're working out, one of the keys is you want to push yourself as much as possible, but at the same time, you want to make sure not to overexert yourself. So I'm just going to finish up my workout here, and then we're pretty much done. A couple more, Darren. In East Windsor, Joey Waller, News 12, New Jersey Sports. Shh, shh. Listen, you hear that silence? That's the sound of that debate ending finally over who's the best male tennis player ever. Yes, Roger Federer today breaking Pete Sampras's record for career Grand Slam titles with 15, but against Andy Roddick, this slam mark was anything but a slam dunk. We pick it up in the fifth set. You've heard that old sports adage, I know. If you don't score, you can't win. But with Johan Santana on the mound in Philly today, the Mets testing that theory. It's kind of like trying to put the square peg in the round hole. It doesn't work. The sign says, nobody messes with Johan, but tell that to the Phils. Elsewhere, you may recall in the movie Rocky II, and out of work, Rocky Balboa goes to the unemployment office where he's asked, why not just keep boxing? So Rocky says, getting punched in the face isn't the easiest way to make a living. Well, while visiting recently with one local boxer, I kind of wondered about just that. Bobby Gunn of Hackensack is fighting champion Thomas Adamek for the IBF and Ring Magazine World Cruiserweight titles next Saturday at the Prudential Center in Newark. Now, Gunn's a house painter by trade, so I asked him simply, how does one get used to getting punched in the face?
I think you got to be like, if you're out shoveling, you develop a callus. I think my body's callous, over the years.
The lesson is, next time you're shoveling snow, just remember, yes, it's easier than getting decked in the puss. More from Gunn on tonight's Jersey Sports File. And as always, Rick, on Sundays it comes your way beginning at 10:30. So I guess the other lesson would be, and you thought you had it bad, right? Elsewhere. You know that Brooke Lopez is 7 feet tall, right? But did you realize that could make the net center the world's tallest Disney fanatic? It's true. Lopez is a Disney trivia expert, recently hosting the youth basketball camp bearing his name at Hoop Heaven in Morristown. And I wondered which Disney character this gentle giant feels he's most like.
If I were to go with anything, I have to go, I guess, Baloo from the Jungle Book. Kind of a big man, but loads of fun. Big bear with loads of fun. But I definitely, I kind of joked around with Vince before. No question, he's Tigger, for obvious reasons.
What do you think? Was that a Mickey Mouse question? Oh, come on, I was just being a little goofy. Now, among those honored with Lucas was former Dodger first base great Steve Garvey. And if there was a Hall of Fame for players who looked best in their uniform, number 6 would have been a shoo-in. The uniform seemed to look better on you, Steve, than anyone. The nice forearms. It looked like you just came from the tailor.
Well, there's a way to wear the uniform. We were taught. You wear, your pants at the mid-calf area, and you go out and you look like a baseball player. And Jay Johnstone had the greatest line. He said, Garvey, you slide on the stripe. That's why you never get dirty.
And for crying out loud, the guy still, as you see, does not have a hair out of place. Much more on tonight's Jersey Sports Final. And as always, Rick, on Sundays, it comes your way beginning at 10:30. In fact, never mind the perfect hair. Just see the knot was perfect. Just the whole picture.
You have a man crush. I am serious.
You know what? I do. Those Yankees are seeking that 4-game sweep against the Red Sox tonight. And it's only fitting that as the Yanks are flexing their muscles, a trotter named Muscle Hill runs away with yesterday's premier event of the harness racing season, the Hambletonian at the Meadowlands. After all, he's the son of 1998 Hambletonian winner, Muscles Yankee.
Muscle Hill drawing away with every stride. Operation Hambletonian complete. It's Muscle Hill 150-1, equaling the world record.
And the trainer for Muscle Hill is Gregory Peck. He has the same name as the actor who won an Oscar for Alfred Hitchcock's To Kill a Mockingbird. And this Gregory Peck's horse killing the field in the Hambo.
Today, Muscle Hill was awesome. He was really something, and I'm so proud of him.
Muscle Hill wasn't the only one supplying the muscle on race day. The Hambletonian crowd included one particular filly, no, not that kind of filly, but this kind, who was looking for a horse. No, not that kind of horse. So what's a woman from Manhattan doing at the big Hambo today?
Looking at all the gorgeous men, and then the animals.
Looking for a stallion both on and off the track?
Oh, right, absolutely.
The favorite here today in the Hambo is Muscle Hill, and you've got the biggest muscles here today.
You know what? Muscle Hill, I have to go with him then. I have to go with him. Muscle Hill?
Muscles going with muscles.
Muscles going with muscles. You got to go.
And that moving Doug Albrecht of Wayne to show off his guns. When you flash those guns, your girlfriend had a reaction. I don't know what it meant, but she had a reaction.
Did it include a barf bag?
Ew. And Gregory Peck, not the only cool name we've come across this week. Those 10-year-olds from Monroe advancing to the Cal Ripken Baseball World Series in Colorado, and thanks largely to a kid with simply one of the great baseball names you'll ever hear, pitcher Eric Heater. Now, granted, Heater is spelled with 2 T's, but what better name for a strikeout pitcher like himself? Now, our research shows there's never been a Heater in the major leagues. There have been 4 players named Ball, though fortunately for them, none were pitchers. In addition, we've had Prince and Cecil Fielder, but neither's been much of a fielder. Former Yankee Homer Bush, though he hit just 11 homers in 7 seasons. Vic Power, who never hit more than 19 homers in a season, but did win 7 Gold Gloves. Horace Speed, who stole only 4 bases in 3 seasons. And Jim Fanning. Perfect name for a pitcher, right, Fanning? Problem was, Jim was a catcher. And so, for the combination of name and position, well, Eric Heater's got them all beat. Elsewhere, championship teams, as you know, often invited to meet the president. But if the Newark Bears win the Atlantic League this season, there's one guy with the team who needs no invite to the White House. You see, he used to work there. Jesse Suskin is in his first year as media relations director for the Bears. His previous job was serving as President Bush's senior press advance rep. How about that? For the most part, minor league baseball is less stressful than traveling with the leader of the free world, except for one thing.
When you have the president, you have motorcades, you have the planes, you have the helicopters. You have a huge bubble that moves around that guy. But he's always on time, usually early, in fact. As we're here, sometimes you have, and these are great baseball players who play here, but sometimes getting one baseball player out to an interview on time can be more challenging than moving that whole bubble that comes along with someone from the White House.
So say what you will about George Bush, but the man was on time. And we're on time with tonight's Jersey Sports Final. As always on Sundays, it comes your way beginning at 10:30. And, the irony to that story is the fact that you've got a Republican there, Les, and he is working for a team in an independent league.
Aha.
Both baseball and politics making for strange bedfellows.
I had employees in my dealership that really felt that I was making a huge, huge, huge mistake.
While most car dealers are hurting badly in this economy, business is booming here at Brad Benson Mitsubishi Hyundai in South Brunswick, fueled by their local radio commercials starring the dealership's owner, the former Giant offensive lineman. The spots are rather, well, you be the judge.
Last month, we were the number 2 Hyundai dealer in the country. But hey, I want to be number 1, so I'm giving up sex until we reach that goal. I know it's a pretty big sacrifice, but hey, I need my focus. Now, you're probably thinking, Brad, what about your poor wife?
And it's funny, the sound engineer where I recorded it, I guess I did the ad with such a straight face. He said, "Is that true? Do you really do that?" And I said, "Man, of course not. I don't do that." But but we almost have a cult-like deal with our commercials where people really believe some of them, and they're all in jest. Trying to get them up further, Joey.
But when he's not being a cut-up on the air, this 53-year-old is competing in an equestrian event called cutting.
Being on a cutting horse, I kind of equate to when I was on a roller coaster as a kid when it scared the heck out of me.
He loves animals. In fact, I always said if the animals could give him sex, I'd be out the door.
Going on the radio and joking about sex with your wife, or better yet, lack thereof? Well, how about the reaction of the other person involved in all this, namely Mrs. Celibacy, or Mrs. Benson?
Well, if I don't get it at home, I'll just go somewhere else.
I'm not done living. I mean, I've just begun. And I say a lot of times, I wish I could live twice because I'm having so much fun.
A second lifetime for Benson should be another wild ride. In Hillsborough, Joey Waller for the Jersey Sports Final.